it really is episode 509. Unlike
Yes.
last time, that was a teaser, so you can feel fine.
Luckily, I am still feeling fine. But fine, it's actually better than fine, because fine is like, I'm fine. But I meant it more like, I'm feeling
Divine.
fine. Like, oh, divine, that's better.
I'm feeling
like that.
fine.
So see, this is why I stopped rhyming.
Well, you know what? I'm glad.
We know, Suze. We know.
Yeah, we're aware. How is Sarah today?
Well, my Alexa just started
What's
going
she
off
talking
and is,
about?
What the hell is happening?
What's she saying?
It's like a commercial.
Oh, no.
That
I
was
don't
weird.
Like it. I don't like it when
How
she
did
gets
that-
out of line like that.
That just like, that was like weird.
I don't
Okay,
like when
anyway,
she
sorry. I don't know. I was like, is somebody in my house? No, it's my bathroom Alexa.
I hate when she starts volunteering information, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's enough out of you.
Right. Like, if you'd like to know,
Yeah.
da-da-da-da, I'm like, I would not like to know that. I'll ask you if I need to know anything.
Yeah, she's like an
Don't
overbearing
be like
mother.
chiming in. Yeah, I don't need that. She's shoulding, and I don't like when people should.
Yes.
You know what you should do? No, don't. Please,
you know what
God.
you should
don't.
do?
I don't need somebody else to tell me what I should do. Not like anybody does that now. Nobody does that these days. Plus, I don't listen to anybody.
You know how, like, the woman that recorded the voice for Siri, she's like an actual person, and she's so annoying. She follows everybody on Twitter. She's one of those people that, like, kind of like Taye Diggs. There are, like, certain people that just follow thousands and
Taye
thousands.
Diggs does that?
Yes.
So does Tom Cruise, because he follows me.
Yes, I hate
Which
that
means
crap.
Tom Cruise assistant or something. And then for like a half a second, I was like, and then I'm like, oh no.
I know, but that's, I guess, the point. But, like, I wonder if there is an actual Alexa, though, or if it's, like, just AI.
Oh, there's got to be.
Okay.
AI sounds different.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, this was hilarious. And I was going to talk to you, but oh my God, I'll have to save it. But I found this article, because I have to find it, on, they programmed AI to come up with pickup lines.
No.
It's terrible.
Just like real
but
ones.
hilarious. Oh God, I have to find that. Oh my God, it's so bad. It just is like they can't read people at all, and it just shows like the stuff that we talk about, and it's silly. I'm doing a terrible job explaining it. I'll find it, and then I'll let you know.
Okay, well, first up today, I'm going to do a roundup of some of the things I've watched. I don't know whether people even enjoy my documentary updates, but
They do, and by they I mean me, and that is what matters here.
Okay, the first one I watched was on HBO, and that was The Last Cruise, it wasn't a feature-length documentary. It was about 40 minutes, and it was about an Asian cruise that set sail in February of 2020, and then, of course, COVID was a problem. And so the documentary relies on footage shot by people on the ship and what it was actually like. And, I mean, my sister said it was a snooze fest. I disagree. I was riveted.
Well, you also have very strong opinions about cruises.
Like how they're floating toilets?
Yeah. So I feel like if this is like and another thing, like kind of thing, then that might be, it may be like one of those,
Maybe. Like it
like one
confirms
of those,
my
yes,
biases.
confirmation, but yes.
Well, okay, but also just looking at it through the lens of the world now and knowing what we know, it just freaked me out to see them on this boat and that they don't know what is about to happen.
Okay, that is terrifying.
Yes.
I mean, we all know this feeling because don't you get like that when you watch movies
Yes.
from any time before now and you're like, oh, what are they doing hooking?
Yes.
And then you're like, oh, wait, that's right. Things are like...
Right, because cruises are gross anyway, but to think like they don't know that they are swimming in like a deadly disease and they're like doing the crap people do on cruises, like those stupid like aerobic workouts with each other and you know, all the weird crap people do when they're on vacation.
I love cruises.
You do not.
I do.
What is wrong with you?
I'm not into the booze cruises because of the people that are on there.
Yeah.
But I've been on I went on a cruise in Eastern Europe down the Danube, and I went on a cruise in like Norway area. I fucking love it.
Tell me what you love.
It's a floating buffet. What is not to love? It's buffet on water.
I forgot.
It's my favorite thing.
I really should just remember, anytime I'm confused, it's probably because there's a buffet. Like,
it's either aliens or a buffet. Those are the only two answers.
So you're telling me that if there were not buffets on cruises, you would not
I wouldn't go. Nope.
Oh my God.
That's not that. Nope. Not interested at all.
You would not be interested in cruising.
No.
Okay. Wow. So
the other thing I enjoy about it is because it doesn't necessarily have to be a buffet. It's the well, yeah, it kind of does. That's like a perk, but it's like the convenience of. Well, I do get a lot. You get a lot of a little. It's my favorite thing.
Sarah, but then quit saying you like cruises because what you like are buffets.
But I don't like a buffet. I don't like Las Vegas. Even though that has buffets, I don't like the other things.
Okay, but you like the other things on a cruise.
Yes. They always have a kid. There's like a kids game room that like video games you can play all the time. There's like a pool that like I like that you can go different places. You don't have to unpack. If any of these places would like to sponsor me when we get out there in the world,
I'm sure
I
they
will happily sell people on cruises. Also, I can see. I told you I want to be an old lady. Yeah. My grandma used to go. She traveled the world on bridge cruises. She went on a cruise. Who happened to be on the boat? Like my grandma was not like made a lot of money. She was just a teacher. But Bill Gates was on her cruise.
Oh my.
Because he loves playing bridge. And they went on a cruise. Well, she didn't go like with him. But, he was like there in the bridge tournament.
Oh, I didn't know what you meant by a bridge cruise.
Oh, bridge tournament, like card games, like old people. I should have definitely specified.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Bridges, water, I got it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overlap there.
Right. I can't believe Bill Gates would participate in that. That's ridiculous.
Right. Good enough for Bill Gates, good enough for me. So fine with the cruise.
Maybe he did put a thing in the vaccine. I mean, now I want to know. Okay.
No, he really needed us to get back to normal so that he can keep going on his bridge cruises.
Cruising.
Keep cruising.
Good Lord. Okay, so even now that you know how disgusting they are, you would still go on one. That is sick. There's no hope
but
for
it would
you.
be a different down. It would be there's no hope for me. But I wouldn't do the one. Here's what I'm scaling down on like the number of people I'm around. So I wouldn't do one of the big cruises, but I would do that river cruise again for sure. I'm fine with that.
I mean, that is a big difference, I guess. But
huge difference.
Royal Caribbean or all those ones. I mean, God, they're disgusting.
No,
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
Well, the thing, I mean, what I said is true, where you're watching it knowing that this is gross and they don't know yet and whatever. Then it's also disturbing to me, and I feel like I would have been traumatized by not knowing, like once they were quarantined and couldn't leave their rooms and stuff, it would really freak me out not knowing when I was going to get off that boat.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's the idea of being trapped. Like, you have no escape.
Well, you know how I feel about that.
What didn't it? Oh, this is okay. Trigger warning. I'm saying it before now,
but just for Susie.
Trigger warning. Well, I was going to say for suicide, but I have to say that. I'm going to. So yeah. But weren't there a lot of suicides on cruises?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For people who were just trapped. Yeah. And I think it might be the feeling of I don't know when this is going to be over. When it's I like because hopelessness.
Yeah.
No way out. Emotional pain that's greater than physical pain.
Yep.
Or emotional pain that like the pain of living is more
Yes.
intense than the fear of dying.
And what they made very clear in this movie was how the crew is below deck, so they really don't even have sunlight. And
Oh my God.
how they were so mistreated because they had to keep working. And it's
Oh
not
my
safe.
God.
Like they had to deliver all the food and make the food and clean the ship, and it's just really disgusting.
No, that's a nightmare. That's actually a horror film.
Yes, that's how I felt.
That's making me start to panic.
Exactly.
I would want. I remember a couple years ago when that movie Free Solo came out, and people were like, "Oh," well, nobody asked me this, but I was thinking and having imaginary conversations in my head with if somebody were to ask me this, like, "Oh, what was your favorite horror movie of the year?" And I said, "Free Solo."
That is such a good answer.
And so, if somebody said, "What's your favorite horror movie? What's the best horror movie of the year?"
Yeah.
I'd say this
For real.
cruise ship documentary, The Last Cruise.
Yes.
I haven't even seen it yet. Sounds like it. I'm getting terrified thinking about it.
I don't know. I just keep playing it over in my head. So if that's of interest to you, you might enjoy it. I also watched on Netflix the documentary White Boy. Did you see that one?
No. Oh my God, I know why. Because I don't have Netflix.
Oh, Sarah.
I literally don't have any streaming services right now.
Okay.
I haven't watched TV and I can't remember how long.
We need
Except
to get
that
you
documentary
sorted.
on Amazon Prime because I have Amazon Prime still because I need to get shit delivered.
Oh my God, we got to
I
get you
know.
hooked up.
I know. I haven't pulled the trigger because I've just been like, what's the point?
Yeah,
When
and you've been so
I've
busy.
been so busy.
Well,
So
White
there you
Boy.
go. That's why I'm like, why haven't I seen any of these? There you go. Okay, continue.
It's about a 17-year-old in Detroit in the 80s who was arrested for dealing drugs, but he was dealing at a level that was very unusual for his age, and also, of course, he was affiliated with like the bigger drug community, which he was like the only white kid in the community, and so they called him White Boy Rick. And
Oh, they made a movie about this.
yes, I think he's very famous.
Yeah.
And he became like the face of kind of like the 80s drug problem in, I guess, for white people. But it was all a lie. Like, he was actually an informant for the FBI. And then they
See?
sold him up the river. And he got life in prison at 17
Whoa.
years old for
Well-
drugs.
17?
Yes.
Holy shit.
And it was all corruption and all this crap. And he ended up serving about 30 years.
Well, I don't even think I don't think that they should be allowed to use underage informants.
Nope.
Like, that's fucked up because you can't make decisions for,
Yep.
you're not even there's a lot wrong with that.
I know. And it's so obvious to everyone, but it took all those years for him to be set free. So that was
Oh,
really
it was.
interesting.
The whole system, just blow it up and start. I shouldn't say that out loud. People are going to.
No, but Sarah, that is how I feel too.
Figuratively. It all, just start
The
over. This is
corruption.
insane. Come on.
Yeah. The police, come on. Okay.
Come on.
So I got worked up about that.
As I am right now.
I know. I just dragged you into my...
Yeah, I feel it because I would be like that too.
I
Gosh,
should
you're doing
probably-
a good job talking about these documentaries. Really.
I am not doing a good job at doing my job, though, which is to encourage you guys to try various things, including, but not limited to, the services of Noom. Noom is awesome. I actually found out that one of our listeners is a Noom coach, and she was telling me,
cool.
this is so awesome. She was telling me that whenever she gets a client who doesn't know where to start with their life and they feel like everything's a mess, she tells them the same thing as me. Start flossing.
Floss. Oh my gosh, I love it. I thought you were
that's
going to say
funny.
she tells them to listen to Brain Candy podcast. I'm like, well, I love that, but she
She
probably
should
can't
add
do
that to it. But
Yes,
Noom
but
is so
we'll-
great because it can help you keep goals, whether it's about your health or your weight or getting energy, whatever it is that you want in your life. For me, as you guys know, I'm on this health journey to get my body running properly. So I like Noom because they hold you accountable through science and psychological tools that teach you how to think differently and more efficiently and better. And I just think it's such a low, commitment. It's like 10 minutes a day to sort of focus on your well-being, and you can make huge changes.
Yeah. I want her as a coach.
I know, right? She's clearly doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to try Noom, there's a science to getting healthier, and it's called Noom. Sign up for your trial today at Noom, Noom.com/braincandy, and you can learn how to get healthy with Noom. Sign up for your trial today at Noom, Noom.com/braincandy. Ready to learn how to live healthier? Sign up for Noom today. Noom.com/braincandy. I really love this service. You guys will love it if you want to make some changes, which I know everyone does.
Yes.
Okay, back on track, Suze. Now,
Sorry, I keep clearing my throat today. I got a little tickle.
my God, it takes the burden off me.
Yeah, it's fine.
I did also see this really cute documentary short film on the NewYorker.com, which was about a chef who, was out of work, of course, because of pandemic, and started like this Noom cooking class. Noom. Oh my God. Now I'm like just thinking about Noom.
I was like, really?
Zoom.
That's a new one. Yes.
Zoom cooking class. And all these people just would meet each week to learn how to cook a dish.
That's
And,
great.
I mean, it really
Why did I
was.
think of that?
Why did what?
Not like to do it, like, but to go and join. Like, that sounds like the perfect activity, level of commitment, social interaction that I would have liked.
Exactly. Like, I think this is brilliant because...
Well, we can still do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you learn a skill, and then you can socialize with people who have a common goal. And then, of course, the end is that you can eat the meal afterwards with your family or whatever.
Check. Yes.
And
I mean, you gotta eat.
The documentary was great, though, because it focused on the stories of each, several of the people in the class and how the pandemic had affected them. Maybe they couldn't contact their family or what inspired them to take the class. And, I mean, relatable AF. I mean, everybody was just in the same boat at that time. And kind of like trying to find their way, maybe trying to live their best life, but didn't know how. And it's just when you're watching it, you think, yep, we were all there. I know that feeling. Yes. It was inspiring.
I would really like to watch that. Now I would really like to do, I didn't think an online cooking class, if you would have told me pre-pandemic, hey, would you like to sign up for an online cooking class? I'd be like, nope.
Right.
But I would definitely like to be in a cooking class online now.
Yeah, because he would tell them ahead of time, here are the ingredients you need. And I think he would give them the recipe so they weren't caught off guard. Yes. But then he'd walk them through it, and he'd tell them stories about cooking school and like what you have to learn and why it's important. And it just seemed like it was meeting their practical needs, but also their emotional and spiritual needs too. As food often does.
Always. And different culture. I love it.
Yeah. So I recommend that. I forget the name of it, but it's on NewYorker.com. Okay. This is a fun story. 2 women in India were thinking about curse words, and we've talked about this on the show, how curse words are often rooted in taboos, whether it's something like feces or whatever.
Yes.
But often...
Or parts of the body,
Yeah, but they also often have roots in misogyny and...
so much.
Yeah, like gross
like
stuff.
Everything.
And so they were thinking about how they could try to shift curse words in India away from misogyny and ableism and homophobia and caste discrimination. And so, like, they are sort of crowdsourcing ideas for curse words.
Oh my God, I love it.
Me too. Like, they are using this one that it translates to being like you're a hemorrhoid wound, like a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Or if somebody is sort of like a windbag, they call them a gas talker.
Oh, I like that.
Stuff like that, where they want people to start thinking.
I feel like you can replace. There's a hilarious scene from The Office where Dwight says, he says like everybody knows that R is a aggressive letter. That's why they call it murder and not muck duck. And I was like, that's so fucking funny. And so I feel like the K in fuck is like a heart, like an end like that.
Yeah.
So having like making up words, but using the same sounds.
Yeah.
That have that same feel.
Yeah.
Oomph, you know?
Well,
I think that's interesting.
I think that the idea that they're trying to come up with words that are agreeably disagreeable. Like they want to, they want you to have
we can all say hemorrhoid. No
Hemorrhoid
good.
wound,
No bueno.
yeah.
We can all say that is no fun.
'Cause
male or female.
once you kind of become aware of the way that our curse words often have misogynistic or bigoted, roots, it's just not as fun.
It's not as fun at all. And then, like, now I watched that History of Curse Words on Netflix, back when I had Netflix. And the one that stuck with me is the bitch, the word bitch.
Why? Why did it stick with you?
I was only like maybe a little bit offended when somebody calls me that. Now when I knowing like just how it offends on like it's on all the different ways like it's offensive and how it's
like belittling.
Yes, and calling a man a bitch and like what that I just like really hate that word now.
Basically,
and I used to be like, whatevs, like, what a bitch, and now I cannot say that.
Any name that men call each other to be mean is definitely going to be hurtful to women.
It's so annoying.
Yeah. And so that is gross. And I love that they're trying to do that. And they're saying, hey, swearing's cool. Let's do it. But let's do it in a way that doesn't hurt people.
I love that Orbit's commercial where she was like, what are you looking at, you lint liquor? And like, and it was like dirty mouth, clean it up, and they would like have like words that, she's nothing but a lint liquor. And like that is like hilarious. We should all be using those words. Like something that's like
better.
Gross to everyone.
I feel like Southern communities and Midwestern communities are really good at coming up with, workarounds.
Yeah, because they got it. Because like
purity culture, I know, but
it's so silly. Like we know what you're saying. Just like what is the difference? It's silly.
So I think that's cool. That article was on atlasobscura.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I love that website.
Yeah, that was a random one. I was like, oh, I'm into that. Okay, I thought you'd be into this one. Well, first, let me say that it is spring. I want to encourage you to get your life in order.
Definitely do that.
Freshen things
Feels
up.
so good.
Maybe you need some new sheets or towels.
This is the perfect time. Oh my gosh, you definitely need new towels.
Ew, you do.
You do. I didn't think I did, and then I was like, oh, I do.
Yeah, and we're judging you guys, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's no shame, but it's time to start fresh. And so Brooklinen is the answer, and they're having a birthday sale.
Ooh.
They're offering savings on all things comfort for their biggest sale of the year. And that excites me because you can get ridiculously soft bedding, towels, and loungewear. And they're so confident you'll love everything. They even offer you a 365-day warranty, so you're going to love that. They are the best sheets I've ever had. They are the best towels I've ever had. And you can get everything you need for a spring refresh during Brooklyn's biggest sale of the year. Shop the Brooklinen birthday sale starting this weekend. If you're listening to this podcast after the sale ends, don't worry. You can still go to brooklinen.com and use promo code BRAINCANDY to get $20 off any purchase of $100 or more. That's BROOKLINEN.com and enter promo code BRAINCANDY to get $20 off any purchase of $100 or more. Brooklinen, everything you need to live your most comfortable life. Okay,
that's good. I need that code because I'll let you in on a little secret. They were sold out of the robe that I really wanted that I was supposed to get for Christmas. And then when you're no longer in the relationship, you don't really get the presents anymore.
Right.
So I got to buy myself a robe.
Yeah, you got to treat yourself. That's fine.
I got to treat myself. And
maybe
so,
even better.
Yeah, $20 off. That's like a good deal.
Okay, that's exciting.
The end. That was like a personal little story that you get to hear about me. So.
I think that you will like this conversation. This was an article I read in the New Yorker as well about the rise of therapy speak. And
oh my gosh, yes. You know what? I saw this headline, but I had just finished writing a whole bunch of notes, and I was like, I can't read those.
well, yeah, I know that feeling where it's just
That's
like
so
your
funny.
life, so it doesn't feel as novel.
I want to hear all about this because to
Okay.
me it was like, oh yeah, we're all talking about this. So I'm like, this is how I talk. But,
Well, just with anything, I mean, there's always like a flip side. There's a good part and a bad part. So the good part, I think we were even talking about this before we recorded, just how it's great that therapy is trendy or fashionable and people can sort of say they have a therapist and it's cool and not stigmatized. That's all good news. The kind of flip side of it is that people are using the language without always knowing exactly what it means. And that's not great.
absolute. And also it's made it really hard as a therapist to use those words in the way that you want to. And I have to always say, like, especially when I'm talking about self-care. Mm-hmm. I have to be like, okay, self-care, but like, let's really talk about what that is and like define it. It's not like manicures and pedicures, you know? So it's really
Well, and
hard. And then you
sometimes
you don't think that you have to explain it, but
Well, and sometimes self-care, a lot of times, is not easy or fun.
no.
Like, sometimes
self-care is
taking care of
something that
yourself
promotes you living in line with your best self and your goals.
Right.
Sometimes that's getting all your shit done, doing the laundry, cleaning your house,
Doing the
that's-
hard thing.
doing the hard
Yeah.
things.
So, also, people misuse the words like, people throw around like OCD,
Oh God.
stuff like that.
And then oh my God, I got into a whole thing. I just dropped planted the seed or
Yeah.
whatever, and then let everybody else kind of run wild with it, because he had put up a post of all of his water bottles in order when he was waiting to go on the challenge
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
I
He's
remember
like,
that.
my OCD something, and I was like, that would be obsessive tendencies, not an obsessive compulsive disorder, da-da-da-da-da. And then it was 25 comments after that, because it's really frustrating and annoying. And it's not just me being this has serious consequences, as I'm sure the article says.
Yeah, because it can diminish the people who are actually diagnosed with something or whatever. And a lot of it's well-meaning. It's just that sometimes when people become interested in a subject before they have any kind of actual information about it, that can be it's like Dunning-Kruger situation.
Yep,
So,
for sure.
Like they were talking about how, even I notice this all the time now with the word gaslight, how people use
Yes.
it instead of just saying we had a disagreement. Like they'll say this person was gaslighting me. Mm-hmm. Just because
my
you don't
God.
see eye
Yep.
to eye doesn't mean he's gaslighting you.
And I'm like, please, okay, define that word for me.
Do you notice
Tell me what you
this? I'm
think
sure
that
you
means.
do.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Where I'm just like, that's not what that... Oh, for Pete's sake. The other one that is hard, that is thrown around, I found difficult to describe or I have to really make clear in my work with somebody, because we throw them around, is the word boundaries.
Oh, yeah, they
People-
brought that up. Tell me about that.
I feel like people think that it is they don't understand all the parts of it. That boundaries is not just saying, I don't like this. Some people think it's physical, like an actual physical thing, because we think I don't want to be around them, or my boundary is you don't talk to me, don't call me. Boundaries have to be, there's a formula to it. They have to be clearly stated and defined. I always use the example of driving on the freeway, what the speed limit is.
Okay.
We have boundaries. We know what boundaries are when you drive on the road. They're rules of road, and you're able to recite them like a list. It's and you also are aware of what the consequences are.
Right.
I can't speed. I have to signal when I change lanes, blah, 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 blah. And if I don't do that, then I'll get a ticket and blah, blah, blah. And so with boundaries, we need to communicate them to the other person. Sometimes we have them, but the other person has no idea.
Right.
So you have to tell them.
Is that essential?
What, to communicate them?
Yeah.
How on earth could anybody know? Well, they crossed my boundaries. How on earth would I know that? What if there's no sign that tells me what the speed limit here is?
Yeah.
How do I know how fast to go? And then if I got a ticket and there was never any speed limit posted, never any sign anywhere ever, that wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
So how on earth can you be upset when your boundary hasn't even been communicated?
Yeah.
Has to be communicated. Then has to be the part of communicating boundaries is also communicating what the consequence of them crossing that boundary or not following that boundary, or hearing that boundary is. If you continue to talk to me in that way, I will no longer be in this relationship. Mm-hmm. If you I don't know, whatever one you can think of, like, I'm trying to think of like what a boundary would be that people like deal with all the time. If you like, I'm trying to think of like people are going home to like visit their parents for the holidays, and they have like the parent who like, always wants to ask about like, I don't know, the inappropriate topic or like, if you ask me, it makes me really uncomfortable when you ask me, when we're going to have kids.
Right.
If you continue to ask me or you ask me this, I will not come. I don't want to come over.
I won't be able to visit. Yeah.
I won't be able to visit anymore. Mm-hmm. Then what you're going to have to do is follow through.
That's the worst part.
The worst part that everybody forgets. What happens is like they go, you do it one time because nobody, like the boundary is set and nobody goes, oh, okay, well, I'll just, we set boundaries because somebody's been crossing them, stepping over them.
Right.
Then we set them and it's not like they go, oh, well, okay, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
They test it.
Yeah.
It's like the little kid who's like, you're like, don't do that. And they go, yeah, that's what they do. To see how firm that boundary is. Because so far, evidence shows you've never had it. So you have to show them and you have to be so consistent. And then people think if they just do it one time, they can just, say it and then people do it, and then that's it. They never have to reinforce the boundary. Well, I told them that. Nope, you got to keep reinforcing it. And they're going to be, I'll use the example of kids and sleep training kids. You sleep train a child, you get them to sleep in their own bed. Doesn't mean that they're going to sleep in their own bed forever. There's going to be the night where maybe, the emotions are high or they're feeling, sad or whatever it is. And you're going to have to do some resetting of what those boundaries are and what that is.
That sounds hard.
It's super hard, but the alternative is worse. So you really have to weigh out what. But yeah, that was my whole speech that took way too long. But I just saved everybody like some time in therapy with that.
Yeah,
so
you did.
You're welcome. That was free.
I'm going to take a break and tell people that if they need to relax and release some of that tension from putting up boundaries, that they might benefit from Theragun.
Oh, gosh, I could use it right now after having that conversation.
I bet.
I don't know why.
Life is hard and you want to feel good, and Theragun does the job. We just got ours out today because Adam was struggling with his lower back, and you put it on there and it's like a percussive therapy device. So it releases your deepest muscle tension, and then it's like depth, speed, power, but it's quiet, like an electric toothbrush. And it feels like just so relaxing.
Oh, it feels like so good.
It just does.
Like blood flowing to new parts of my body where it's like, oh,
yeah,
that's what that's supposed to feel like.
Yes. It'll bring you back to life. I mean, that's how I feel anyway when I do it. It's really nice for your neck if you're hunched over a computer all day or if you're lifting stuff and you have lower back pain. It is such a great thing for athletes and regular folks alike and me. Try Theragun for 30 days starting at only $199. Go to Theragun.com/braincandy right now. Get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's Theragun.com/braincandy. Theragun.com/braincandy. Okay, so I remember there was this tweet that went kind of like virally a couple years ago by somebody who was saying, if somebody is like needing your attention and like needs you to help them, but like you're already tapped out, here's what you should say. And it said, hey, I'm so glad you reached out. I'm actually at capacity dealing with some personal stuff right now, and I don't think I can hold appropriate space for you. Could we connect later? Instead, do you have someone else you could reach out to? And so
That's great.
Okay, and that's what the person meant, and that's what people like you think. When I read something like that, I just think, like, there's a sense of you're saying all the right stuff, but it feels like unfeeling and more like that's a real strenuous attempt to avoid helping your friend. And I find that the people that tend to speak like that are usually like, they're not at capacity. Like they think they are.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the problem is that they speak like that and they're not at capacity as we view it because they've created boundaries and therefore have the time. That capacity, though, is reserved for themselves. It's kind of like having keeping a little bit in the bank account, maybe like saying, oh no, I have no money in my account, but you really have $100 in there. Mm-hmm. Somebody might be like, well, you have $100. Well, okay, yeah, but like that's like for me, if I don't know, something terrible were to happen from here to next time I get money.
I guess I just feel like that message should at least include, I'm so sorry. I know that feeling.
Well, yeah.
Like there was no acknowledgement of it. It was just sort of like, oh, I'm at capacity and I'm going to hold space. Sometimes the language can feel robotic.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I think the message is correct that you should, create
for sure.
that boundary.
If it feels like copy and pasted, then I know that I can understand that feeling. That, yeah.
But one last thing about it that sort of struck me was how, unfortunately, because the nature of therapy in the U.S. is like this luxury item, and it is not as available to people who are lower income and stuff like that. Sometimes the therapy speak can feel like the same as wearing a Gucci belt.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It is. And sometimes in this, like, there's a difference between radical acceptance and non-accountability. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I feel like there's that, well, my therapist says I have to just, like, let go of these things and, like, not, but like, almost like using that as a means to get out of the work and what you have to do.
Yes.
Of like, I'm just like putting up walls against negative vibes and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Like, that's like not therapy speak, but it's hard for me to even come up with a way of how somebody would say that, but I can absolutely see this and understand this. And it just feels like those people in therapy aren't doing the work. And they're usually the people who come for 2 sessions and don't, and that's it. They check the box, or they make an appointment and never show up.
Right.
Or call. They consultation and don't show. And that's fine. They're not ready. They're using it for a different purpose. They're using it
like Instagram therapy. Like
performative? Oh,
yeah,
put it in the book.
Yeah.
My book that I'm writing in my mind.
Where I think it's great that people are growing accustomed to the language and the, approach. But it is littered with sort of this influencer language too.
Yeah, that's, And okay, yep, because that also is the same. I feel like I love the movement of like mental health and putting attention on that, but pop psychology is different than therapy.
Yeah.
And the stuff that, and sometimes it can't replace it, you know, and sometimes there are these influencers who present as therapists in a way.
Yes. Oh my God,
and as I feel like I'm backwards. I'm an associate therapist who presents as an influencer.
Sarah, yes. Oh my God,
funny.
I think we've hit upon a rock.
That's really funny. I mean, I like halfway was saying that to make a joke, and then I thought about it. I'm like, no, I think that actually is true.
But I know who and exactly this type of people you mean. And there's nothing wrong with it necessarily.
There is not. It's just so different. Like, I mean, I spend there. It's very specific what I have to, I mean, I'm an associate therapist, not a therapist until I get that license, you know, and that's like something that we have to be, and then.
Well, you're trying to do it correctly, yeah.
Because it's like I have an obligation and a.
But the problem is when women do what you're doing, which is act professional and don't overstate their credentials, then all the people that are bullshitting look more authoritative.
I know.
Which is so annoying.
I totally agree.
That would frustrate
especially
me.
in this because there's really no anybody can be a wellness or like a life coach, you know. Anybody can say like I can be like, yeah, pay me I'll tell you how to live your life. And
I'm sure
a lot
it's similar
of that
though.
is perception.
I'm sure there's like people that have credentials that are life coaches, and then people that sort of just announce that that's what they are. So I bet it's similar.
There's different worlds, and yes, definitely. And there's the difference is the therapist is like diving deep into the root of the cause of those things and what created those patterns, rather than just looking at what the patterns are and how you can like. It's like surface level versus like the deep stuff.
Yeah.
And you just have to know because you have to have the training and it's not stuff you can like, you know, I don't know.
Can't fake it.
Can't fake it.
At least if you ask me.
Yeah.
One thing you also cannot fake
back to grad school and all that work. Whew, okay.
You cannot fake wonderful memories or photos from times in your life, and Legacy Box will help you digitize them so you can enjoy your life's memories online or wherever, and they won't just collect dust in the closet. You could get your parents' old film reels or VHS tapes digitized, which would make a great gift for Father's Day or Mother's Day, which are both coming up. And you just send in everything. They digitize everything by hand. They take excellent care of it. And then they send it back to you on like a thumb drive or DVD or the cloud. And you can just watch, share, and enjoy. I did that with all my Road Rules VHS tapes. And it's just so nice to make sure that you have them and they're safe and you can enjoy them and share them. Get started future-proofing your memories today so you can gather the family and begin the trip down memory lane. Go to legacybox.com/brain to get an incredible 40% off your first order. Buy today to take advantage of this exclusive offer. Send in when you're ready. Go to legacybox.com/brain and save 40% while supplies last.
Yes.
I love that service.
I really want to see your seasons again.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
So bad. I'm so glad you have that on there.
so that you can be put to sleep, basically.
Put to sleep.
Because in comparison to how the show is now, it is so slow and quiet. Like, there's not bleeps every 2 seconds. Like when I'm watching the show now, I'm really struck by how often that beep happens.
Oh, God. They should just stop doing that. Who cares? Just let it.
That's true. Let it fly.
Let it fly.
Okay. I read a great article in Wired. Oh, no. Let me tell you something I'm mad about first.
Oh, love hearing that. Yes, please.
Okay, so in the New York Times, they did an article about a Super Mario Brothers video game that set a new record at auction for like $600,000 or something.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
It was, one of the dealies where they're still in the wrapper, and it's like one of these ones that had like some sort of difference on it, so it...
Yeah.
Whatever.
So dumb.
Here's why I'm mad. Some fool bought this game in like 1988, put it in their GD desk drawer,
right,
and it sat there until today. This should not be something we are rewarding. This is bad organization skills.
Oh yes, and it's not. You know what I think people are equating this to is that, and maybe how they see it as in the same way that archaeologists of the past dug through dirt to find buried treasure.
Yeah.
The ones of the present are digging through mounds of our fucking trash to find what they're calling treasure.
I am furious.
I know who the guy. This is the problem with. This is all those tech guys. This is Silicon Valley guy who made money in the fucking tech world. I'm all mad about it now too. And about the subject and about him making money.
Good.
I said that too. And he's like, I've already bought everything. I already have a wall that's a fish tank. And like, what else should I get? I know, that game. Oh, I can't.
And then you forget you own it, and then don't clean out your drawer for 40 years?
No, I'm talking about the guy who bought it. I don't like either of those guys.
What do you mean?
The guy who bought the game.
That's who I'm talking about.
On auction, not the OG one.
Oh.
That's the one who's the tech guy who has too much money.
Well, that's true, too, yes.
For sure. And then the other one...
Well, I thought he had too much money, too, because if you bought a Super Mario Brothers game back then...
Yes.
And then just forgot...
Oh, I know who that is. That's the kid who's like, Mom, I need this game. I need it so bad. And then his mom bought it, and a whole bunch of them for Christmas, and he threw it in the drawer because he was like, oh, this one isn't the new one? You got the one with the old stuff? Didn't see the value in it. Chucked it in the drawer. Then Mom was put in charge of keeping his stuff for forever, as she was probably paying for his college tuition as well. And then he comes back, and he's like, Mom, where's that box of my stuff? It's in the garage. And then he finds it, and then he's like, I don't know. Yeah,
now he's rich. Sarah, I love that you just created fan fiction about this story in the news. And I'm glad that you're enraged as well. It is not acceptable. This person, they shouldn't get $600,000. They should go to jail.
Because here's the thing. This doesn't happen... and why you can tell who's driving this market, there's no fucking My Little Pony that's going for $600,000 at auction. Mm-hmm. Unless it's a brony buying it.
Good point. Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, can it?
Even, I'd be interested to see what the most expensive Barbie is.
Yeah,
compared to the most expensive, and then you can argue that video games are not they're not gendered, but come on.
If somebody did buy some sort of fancy Barbie doll back then and then kept it in the packaging, it wasn't because they forgot about it in a drawer. It's because they were preserving it, which is different. Mm-hmm.
Video game is not the same as I can hear all the arguments for this. I can hear them, and we're one by one. We're basically playing a tennis match of this argument, and we're playing doubles right now against.
You're so right. No one against no one, Sarah.
Against no one, but
who
are
keeps
we winning
them in
or losing?
Drawers?
Oh God, it's actually one of those ball machines that we're playing against. Oh God, that tickles me. That is so funny.
I just don't. There are so many things about it I don't like. I don't like video game culture. I do not like people that don't clean out their drawers.
Yes.
I don't like people that buy dumb stuff for thousands and thousands of dollars when people are dying, Kim.
Yes. I don't like something that has a value that we've assigned
Yes, it's arbitrary.
It's arbitrary. And that there's a bunch of, it's not even rare. There's other stuff. There's Lord.
All right, so that's all. I'm just mad about it. And
yeah,
then,
do I seem extra enraged today? I didn't mean to be like this, but
whatever
it was the boundaries
I love
probably
it.
talk that got me like.
Ooh, maybe it's because you are becoming a curmudgeon, which I embrace.
Probably. That's fine. I'm great with that. Susie becomes more like, whatever, it's fine. And I'm like, and another thing.
Okay, next up is I read an article on Wired about this tech reporter, and so she's like very online, and she recently canceled her wedding, and she was talking about how, it doesn't go away online just because you canceled your wedding. And they call it the miscarriage problem.
Oh, God.
Because you know how
that is.
Like,
she canceled her wedding not because of COVID, but because she didn't want to get married
They broke up,
again. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah,
and then, like, for the next year and a half, she gets, like, happy anniversary emails or whatever. And the algorithm still thinks she's planning a wedding. Yep. And the same thing happens when you're pregnant and then you lose the child. And then... You get all these triggering...
samples show up at my door. And I was like, don't need that.
Oh, my God. Remember you had... What was the thing that was super traumatizing?
Yeah. It was when I went to Hawaii and the hotel set up a whole little, what are they called? Those
like
diaper
a welcome
cake thing, with a baby doll, like toy, like stuffed animal thing, or like a little toy.
Yes.
Like, for fuck's sake, they shouldn't do that anyway.
Well, that's the thing.
I don't know why. They just put flowers out. It doesn't have to be baby themed.
That's true. Because flowers, that would be welcome.
Yes, I wouldn't have known.
It is a real problem, though, when...
It's weird.
Because even when you think about the memories feature and how it'll show you a picture from a year ago...
Oh, my God, I don't like that.
Yeah, just going through a normal breakup, you're constantly reminded of things that
How about just the memories thing? It doesn't have to be... It could just be of a bad time.
Yes!
It doesn't have to be another person.
Well, and the article was talking about how the human brain, is designed to forget some things out of survival or just, efficiency. And, like, you could edit your memories in a way that served you. And now technology's like, nope.
Oh, my God. This is a very good point.
It's a bummer.
Dude, Susie, it is not cool. It is, and there's yep. And we're supposed to, the brain does all this protecting. It needs to be the memory sometimes it doesn't need to be exact. And
yes.
Like, did I tell you I got, oh my God, I don't think I did. So I got Paramount Plus to watch the new challenge thing.
Yeah.
And was like, let me just check out my season.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Why?
Couldn't even watch. It was like cringy. I was like, I can't do it. I didn't want to, because I've already
processed it.
Processed who that person was. I've already learned from that experience. I've watched it before,
Yeah.
And I don't need to be reminded of how unaware I was.
Oh, right.
Because I'm good now. I don't want, because that strengthens those. Oh, excuse me, I have a little burp. I'm not getting emotional, I promise. I just drank some coffee. And I feel like it reinforces or pulling up things that maybe, I don't know, all of that. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It just is like.
It's complicated.
I couldn't do it, so I couldn't imagine. I get it, and I don't like that.
The article was written by this woman who went to the Pinterest office to talk to them about it, and she said, why can't there be a feature where you can sort of mark a life event complete?
Yes!
Wouldn't that be great?
Susie, not just great, that's an idea. That's a really important idea. It's funny, but not funny at all. Tig Notaro has a funny bit in her comedy, and she did this performance right after her mother passed away. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she had another disease that she had recently recovered from. And she got a letter from the hospital after her mom died, a survey asking how the mom's day was. Well, not good.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, she doesn't need to be, like, dear Mrs. Person who's dead, how was your stay at da-da-da? Really not cool.
I think it happens fairly frequently in that, like, with death, miscarriage, canceled weddings, the death of a child, like, stuff, really horrible things that you're constantly having to be reminded of. And they were saying that, like, the algorithms are training their systems to spot, like, photos of accidents in ambulances so they don't resurface them. But the technology is still so incomplete.
It's so early, and, like, oh God, it's racist right now. Please,
well, that's for sure.
The AI is defaulting to being racist and, like, tricking humans. So we should not be relying on this to handle any sensitive topics.
Yeah, we have a long way to go for sure.
So far, and it does. Well, job security, that's all that is.
I was just saying that to Sarah, like, thanks to COVID, I mean, she's going to have clients forever because we're all traumatized.
Just being a human, yeah, it's just so hard these days.
Let's wind it down, Sarah.
Please.
Please, for the love of God.
I need that Theragun on my neck.
I mean, we kind of bookended the episode with technology. We started with Alexa, and then we ended with an algorithm. And we were crabby the entire time in between.
The whole time. You got a very long-winded explanation of boundaries from yours truly over here.
And nothing can compare to Sarah's realization that she doesn't like cruises. She likes buffets.
This is very true. Oh, but we know that the horror film of the year is The Last Cruise. Terrifying.
But if you want to feel a little better, you could watch the Zoom cooking class thing on New Yorker, or you could take a Zoom cooking class, which would be nice.
Yes, I love it.
If you're going to swear, at least do it about shit and assholes, not, being gay or being a woman.
Ugh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
We're
stop
better than that.
misusing the word gaslighting. I beg of you.
For fuck's sake. Yeah.
And on that note, please leave us a 5-star review and tell a friend and subscribe.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Did you know that everyone has an aura? Do you know what color your aura is? Maybe you have a fiery red personality or a quiet and calm blue or green. You could be an organized and methodical yellow or an explosive purple. Come join me, Mystic Michaela, on my podcast, Know Your Aura, to find out all about how your personality can be explained in colors.